Hey guys, we are back with some more MODO Eastside Hockey Manager, and in this one, we have the rest of the regular season of year number 8 coming up. So in the upcoming month, we have games against Handhaus, Vita Hasten, Timra, Sodertalia, Vastervik, Oskarsham, Kristianstad, Björklöven, and Vasteras. Injuries are starting already this episode. Barsum Wawo has been injured for 10 days with a thigh strain in practice. So we're going to get Valon Widmark in there, and we may as well just do best lines here. And now Wawo is back, so we're going to take Widmark out. He hasn't been doing so well. He's at 588 average rating now, and we're going to get Wawo back in. And the player of the month is Nicholas Waugh of your MODO Hockey, and the rookie of the month is Oliver Holmberg of Kristianstad. So starting out with the goaltender stats, Eric Forsberg unfortunately has dropped down to an 893 save percentage and a 721 average rating. Meanwhile, Stuart Lundell has a 870 save percentage in 14 games and a 671 average rating. On defense, you have Johansson with 21 points, 15 for Norberg, 12 for Alsing, 10 for Sixna and Westland, 8 for McDonald, 5 for Thorain, and 4 for Makowski, 0 for Ginning and Jacobson. Average ratings you have a 724 for Johansson, a 703 for McDonald, a 7 for Norberg, a 691 for Westland, a 688 for Alsing and Sixna, a 670 for Makowski, a 667 for Jacobson, a 661 for Thorain, and a 583 for Ginning. Forwards, you have Rimshot with 43 points in 33 games played. He's been insane this year. 31 points for Waugh, 29 for Herb Ekholm, 29 as well for Naslin, 27 for Tracy, 23 in 16 games for Schmidt-Svedstrup. He has been great as well. 12 points for Dyke, 11 for Miller, 9 for Winkvist, 7 for Wawo, 6 for Kohlberg, 5 for Enroth, Janssen, and Widmark, and 1 for Lindberg. Average ratings, you have an 831 for Schmidt-Svedstrup, a 784 for Tracy, a 776 for Waugh, a 758 for Rimshaw, a 756 for Naslund, a 750 for Janssen. Of course, he hasn't played too many games this year so far, only 6 games on the year. A 742 for Herb Ekholm, a 679 for Miller, a 656 for Enroth, a 650 for Dyke, a 647 for Wawo, a 630 for Winkvist, a 618 for Kohlberg, 588 for Widmark, and a 567 for Lindberg. And now a review of the past month's games. You have a 7-3 victory over Handhaus, a 4-3 OT win over Vita Hasten, a 5-4 OT loss against Timra, a 4-2 loss against Sodertalia, a 5-2 win against Vastervik, a 4-2 loss against Oskarsham, a 5-4 loss against Kristianstad, 6-4 win against Björklöven, and a 4-3 shootout win against Vasteras. And the upcoming month, we have Karlskrona, Mora, Karlskoga, Timra, Tingsryd, Handhaus, Vita Hasten, Sodertalia, and Vastervik. Oh boy. So we're in the middle of January currently. Well, more like towards the end. And we have only won 1 game so far, and it was against Handhaus, who are last in the entire league with this record of 7-29-2-2. This is bad. We are currently sitting outside of the playoffs with 12 games left. We have to make I know that there's a 2-point gap between us and Timra and even Björklöven, but we need to make up some serious ground to even get back into the playoff race, let alone the top 2. I don't think the top 2 is happening at this point, but still, we really have to give it our best shot to try to make the round robin tournament at least, because as of right now, this is not looking good. If we go from making the top 2 last year and almost getting into the SHL to potentially not even making the round robin tournament, that's just, that would be embarrassing. So I think we need to make a couple of changes here. We'll start things out by scratching Thorain. We'll put Jacobson in there. He was playing a little bit better than Thorain in his 3 games here, so we'll see what he can do. And as far as forwards go, I think we have, other than Janssen, who's still injured, we have all of our best forwards dressed, and I don't want to put him back in there with a broken leg. So I think we'd have to go with what we have here. We could try getting Olsen in there, but he must be really cold right now, given that he hasn't played all season. So I guess it can't hurt, though, at this point, given that we haven't, again, the only win that we have in the past month is against Handhaus. So let's see what happens in these next 3 games. If we don't get a single win out of these, then I'm not optimistic about our chances. And the Allsvenskan Player of the Month is Eric Engstrand of Södertälje, and the Rookie of the Month is Rodi Runesson of Kristianstad. So we'll do a quick review of the player stats here. Victor Olsson actually did a pretty good job in the 3 games that we had him in there. 2 wins and 1 loss. 920 save percentage and a 767 average rating, so we'll keep him in there for a little bit. Eric Forsberg with an 898 save percentage and a 729 average rating, and Lundell with an 863 save percentage and a 660 average rating. Defenseman, you have 24 points for Johansson, 19 for Norberg, 17 for Alsing, 12 for Westland, 11 for Sixna, 9 for McDonald, 7 for Makowski, 6 for Thorain, and nothing for Jennings or Jacobson. Average ratings, you have a 721 for Johansson, a 705 for Norberg, a 693 for Alsing and McDonald, a 691 for Westland, a 686 for Sixna, a 679 for Makowski, a 660 for Thorain, a 633 for Jacobson, so we'll take out Jacobson and put Thorain back in, and Jennings with a 583. At forward, Rimshaw with 49 points, 38 for Naslund, 34 for Herb Ekholm, 34 for Waugh as well, 33 for Schmidt-Svedstrup in 26 games, 31 for Tracy, 13 for Dyke, 13 for Miller, 11 for Winquist, 10 for Kohlberg and Wawo, and 9 for Enneroth, 5 for Janssen and Widmark, and 1 for Lindberg. Average ratings, you have an 819 for Schmidt-Svedstrup, a 776 for Tracy, a 764 for Naslund, a 750 for Janssen, a 747 for Waugh, a 742 for Rimshaw, a 728 for Herb Ekholm, a 674 for Miller, a 665 for Enneroth, a 650 for Wawo, a 648 for Dyke, a 630 for Winquist, a 621 for Kohlberg, a 588 for Widmark, and a 567 for Lindberg. So obviously we already went over the schedule a little bit and how we only had 1 win against Handhals before, but here we'll go into it in a little bit more detail. 2-0 loss against Karlskrona, 3-1 loss against Mora, a 4-2 loss against Karlskoga, a 4-3 overtime loss against Timra, a 3-2 shootout loss against Tingsryd, 6-2 win against Handhals, a 3-2 loss against Vita Hasten, a 2-1 win against Södertälje, a 5-3 loss against Vastervik, and a 4-2 win against Vastervik. And upcoming games for February, and there's actually a game in March as well. We have Oskarshamn, Kristianstad, Björklöven, Västerås, Karlskrona, Mora, Karlskoga, Timra, and Tingsryd. And of course, we have to do a standings update. We're currently sitting in 7th, but it's still entirely possible that we could drop to 9th because obviously with the way points work in this league, 1 win is 3 points. So if we go on an extended losing streak, Björklöven and Tingsryd could easily jump us. So we have to absolutely make sure that we have a winning month here. And unfortunately, Jacob Schmidt-Svedstrup has been taken from us for international duty for Team Denmark. You have got to be joking me. This is not the time for this. Is it the Olympics? Is it the Olympics right now? I think it's the Olympics, isn't it? Let's see. Yeah, it's the Olympics. Oh, you gotta be joking. And Josef Janssen is finally back from his broken leg. It is now February 21st. We are roughly 10 days away from the end of the regular season. So we'll get Lindberg out of there and we'll get Josef Janssen back in. Hopefully he can help make up for the loss of Schmidt-Svedstrup. And speaking of which, he is finally back. So we're going to get him back in the lineup. We'll take Kohlberg out and Schmidt-Svedstrup. We need you. And there it is. We have indeed qualified for the round robin tournament. That's a relief. But remember, for the round robin tournament, you basically have to be perfect if you want to win and advance to face the loser of the championship round. We have to be on our A game going into the round robin. Let's try to win as many as possible. Well, I mean, there's only 1 game left before then, so let's try to win this last game here against Tingsryd. The player of the month is Jacob Schmidt-Svedstrup of your MODO Hockey, and the rookie of the month is Rodi Runesson of Kristianstad, because when has he not been? He has been fantastic, it looks like, for them. A 922 save percentage and a 731 average rating. Now, the final game of the regular season against Tingsryd, we have a 4-2 win. There you go, ending the season on a good note. So now recapping the player stats for the regular season. A 903 save percentage in 8 games for Victor Olsen, an 897 for Eric Forsberg in 35 games, and an 863 for Sture Lundell in 15 games. And average ratings, you have a 738 for Olsen, a 729 for Forsberg, and a 660 for Lundell. On defense, you have Johansson with 32 points, 22 points for Norberg, 19 for Alsing, 17 for Westland, 11 for Sixna, 10 for Mikowski, 9 for McDonald, 7 for Thorain, and nothing for Ginning or Jacobson. Average ratings a 723 for Johansson, a 706 for Norberg, 692s for Alsing and McDonald, a 690 for Westland, 685s for Mikowski and a Sixna, a 654 for Thorain, a 633 for Jacobson, and a 583 for Ginning. Forwards, Rimshot with 61 points on the season, a 46-point season for Naslund, 43 for Wah, 42 in 32 games for Schmidt-Svestrup, 41 for Herb Ekholm, 40 for Tracy, 22 for Miller, 18 for Winkvist, 17 for Dyke, 12 for Kohlberg, 12 for Wawo, 11 for Enroth, and 9 in 9 games for Janssen. And then, of course, 5 points for Widmark and 1 point for Lindberg. Average ratings an 819 for Schmidt-Svestrup, a 778 for Tracy, a 763 for Naslund, a 756 for Janssen, a 750 for Rimshaw, a 748 for Wah, a 719 for Herb Ekholm, a 688 for Miller, a 663 for Enroth, a 653 for Dyke, a 646 for Wankfist, a 643 for Wawo, a 620 for Kohlberg, a 588 for Widmark, and a 571 for Lindberg. And now we will review the past month of games. We had a 4-3 overtime win against Oskarshamn, a 5-3 win against Kristianstad, a 5-4 overtime win against Björklöven, a 5-2 win against Västerås, a 3-2 loss against Karlskrona, a 4-2 loss against Mora, a 6-3 win against Karlskoga, and a 6-4 win against Timrå. And then, of course, a 4-2 win against Tingsryd there on March 1st, which I almost forgot about. And coming up in the round-robin tournament, we have Karlskrona, Västervik, Timrå, Björklöven, and Oskarshamn. So that leaves us, as we take a look at the regular season standings, we were 5th in the league. We were 23, 18, 6, and 5, 86 points on the season, so we weren't catching up to the top 2 teams, but we gave it a good effort when we were previously not doing so well. So that'll be about it for this one, and in the next one, we will get to the round-robin tournament, and hopefully further than that. See you guys then.